Hello everyone, I'm Mike Cahill. Welcome to another edition of Hatfield Currents, a news magazine type show produced by HCTV, that's Hatfield Cable Television, for broadcast on Comcast's Channel 15 and on YouTube's Hatfield Community TV. As many of you may recall, having seen past Hatfield Currents shows, the show's mission is to produce shows on topics from personalities to political controversies. We've done shows on interesting residents. We've done things on historical artifacts, town meetings and town meeting issues, and even the pros and cons of whether or not we should save the center school in town. And you might be wondering first, though, about the set and the wall background here today. Well, today's show is actually being taped at the Hatfield American Legion Hall. And we will actually feature the post-World War I Veterans Organization and a particular focus on our own local chapter, Legion Post 344, which was founded back in 1945. Hatfield's chapter is actually comprised of 4 divisions: the Legion Auxiliary, the Sons of the Legion, and the Legion Riders. So those are the 4 divisions that our local Legion is comprised of. Today we're going to talk about 2 of those divisions. The Legion itself, the originating body, the Legion itself, the Legion Auxiliary, and we'll do another show and tape the show on the Sons and the Riders. So some of the things that we're going to talk about today are the what, why, where, and when of each of these divisions, the Legion and the Auxiliary. And we hope that by show's end, you or someone you know will consider joining one of those organizations or using the Legion facility itself for family and or organizational events. So, here to help me present to you guys who are watching all this information about the Hatfield Legion is Post Commander Tom Tataro and Post 344 Auxiliary Unit President Wendy Tataro, Tom's wife. So welcome, Tom and Wendy, to Hatfield Currents.
Thank you.
And I thought what we would do is use some questions that I have as talking points for today's show. So what we'll do is we'll kind of ask you guys, or I'll ask you guys what each of your organizations is, and maybe ask you a little bit about the history of each one of them, and how you're organized, and who's eligible to be members, is there any cost associated with membership, what your current membership level might be, what you do for members and the local community, and then maybe we can talk a little bit about the Legion facility itself and using that. So, Tom, why don't you kick it off? Tell us a little bit about the history of the Hatfield Legion.
Well, the Hatfield Legion was chartered in 1945. At that time, it had close to 250 members. Most of them all World War I and World War II veterans. The original Legion building was on this site, but it was a schoolhouse. And it was burnt down in 1966, 67 as practice for the fire department. And this new building was built and dedicated in 1968.
I'm showing my age, I actually remember that.
Yeah.
I was just really a youngster at that point.
Well, a lot of the guys that are our age remember that, coming here and watching the fire department do their thing.
Right.
Today we're down to about, including the Riders and the Sons, about 90 members. So right now we're struggling, and we're trying to get some new members, get some new people involved in the Legion. It doesn't take a whole lot of time. Help out whenever you can, and it's important to the Legion and to the community.
Right, Tom, talk a little bit about the National Legion. You have anything to say about the larger National American Legion organization?
The larger region, the Legion is the largest wartime veterans service organization in the country. It sponsors a myriad of wholesome programs in the community. It advocates for patriotism and honor. It promotes a strong national defense, and its members are its driving force. Unlike a lot of organizations, it's not really top-heavy. It's volunteer-driven. The National is divided into different chapters, and the chapters are divided into districts, and the districts are divided into the individual posts. So it's that little individual post that gets pushes up, goes to state, and goes to national, and they're able to get a lot done, promoting for veterans, families, and current service members.
So if I'm correct, the national organization really began after World War I.
Yes, it was originally chartered by Congress in 1919, and the first meeting was held in Paris, France, and it was composed of 20 officers from the American Expeditionary Force, which had gone to Europe in World War I, and they were looking for a way to provide service for the veterans of that war.
Yeah. Wendy, how about the auxiliary? Tell us a little about the history of the auxiliary. Now, the Hatfield Legion itself began in 1945, but the auxiliary didn't begin then, did it?
Right. The American Legion Auxiliary began in 1919, and it's considered the largest patriotic women's organization in the country.
Okay.
There's 750,000 communities local communities that have over 8,600 units throughout the United States. What we do is we provide different programs. We help veterans, military, and their families through volunteer in hours and programs. So anything at all that they're having here, we help them. We help at the VA. And when we have an event that we sponsor, we also it all goes back to either the community in different volunteer programs, service-related, scholarships, and also for the American Legion here in Hatfield.
Okay. So how, back to the Hatfield Legion, how are we organized? What's the the structure of the Legion itself, Tommy? I mean, you're the commander, but what's the other organization, the structure below you here?
I wear a lot of hats here. Okay. In addition to the American Legion, there's also the American Legion Post 344 Incorporated, which runs the post hall. I'm the president of the board of directors of that. The hall is operated by a board of directors, and I'm also the manager of the hall, which means I'm the guy that orders the beer and fixes what's broke, and then as part of as my job as the commander of the Legion, I oversee the meetings that we have once a month. I also have a vice commander, Brian Nicholas. Okay. Yeah. Our adjutant is Frank Motica Jr. Our finance officer is Bob Bartlett. Chaplain is Fran Spelsey. Our sergeant at arms is Kenny Belice. And our service officer is also our town's veteran agent, Jerry Clark.
Okay.
Yeah. We're the officers that run the Legion.
Right. Okay. And then you've got the membership below that administrative group, pretty much. That's how it's structured at this point. And that's typical of just about every Legion post throughout the country.
Exactly. Some of the bigger Legion posts have more officers. They have junior vice commander, senior vice commander, they have a historian. There's a whole slew of officer positions that legions with larger memberships
All right,
fill.
all right. Now, Wendy, is the organization, the auxiliaries organization, similar in
It's
structure?
similar, but we don't have quite as many different posts as they do.
Right.
We have a president, we have a treasurer, and we have a secretary.
Okay.
Now, a lot of other places also have a historian. We're trying to get somebody to volunteer for that so that they can take pictures and different things of all the events that we have
Right.
and post them. Also, we don't have a chaplain, which is what a lot of places have. Because we just started last year, we just have the three, the president, the treasurer, and the
Okay,
secretary.
so who
at
are
this
those
time.
people?
And I'm the
Tom shared, we know that you're the president.
I'm the president of the auxiliary last year and also this year. They
Okay.
wrote me in.
Yeah.
For the one for this year is, for the secretary is Karen Mandeville.
Okay.
And at Mandeville/Adams, she was very active in the one in Northampton and Florence, and came over to us, which we're very grateful for. And also for the treasurer, we have a new member this year. Her name is Ginny Bajorek. She's also a town, she lives here in town, and her husband is
The writers.
the writers, the Legion writers.
He's a member of the Riders?
Yes.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's how, and we all have various roles. We have our meetings once a month. We have ours going every month throughout the year. We don't stop because, whereas a lot of other places do, they take the summer off, just
Right.
because there's always new agendas that we have. And even though people don't, if they can come, they can, we always get a bulletin out to everybody so they can see what's going on and what we accomplished or what we said at the meetings.
Yeah, yeah. So, for each of your organizations, who is actually eligible, Tom, for the Legion?
For the Legion, you have to be a veteran of one of the service organizations, and you had to have served in that organization within the time frame of periods when the United States was at war.
Okay.
Basically, the World War I period, which there probably aren't too many left.
Right.
The World War II period, which goes from 1941 to 46, I think.
Yeah.
The Korean War period, and then Vietnam. That period of in Panama, when we made the incursion into Panama, where there's a 2 or 3 year period there. If you served in the military, you didn't have to serve in country. You just had to serve somewhere in the military during that time period.
Okay.
And then there's Lebanon and Grenada, and now the war on terrorism, which started on 9/11 and is
Through present,
continuing
Yeah.
until they decide that it's ended, and it doesn't look like it's going to end too soon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, Wendy, I'll get to you in a minute, but the demographics of the membership, you got 90 members at this point.
Yeah.
Looking at those various eras, if you will, of wartime, what's the distribution, would you say, of your, I'm putting you on the spot, but of your membership currently, your 90 membership? Is it mostly the Vietnam War back, or is it mostly from Vietnam War forward, or is it pretty evenly distributed?
I would say it's mostly Vietnam era veterans,
Okay.
with Korean War veterans next,
Yeah.
and the remainder make it up of veterans. We have one veteran that participated in the incursion into Grenada, and the rest are basically from the war on terrorism.
Right.
We have 2 veterans left from the World War II era.
Right. So in terms of potential members, there's still, it sounds like there's a significant number of people who participated in either the Lebanon, the Grenada era forward, the present era from 9/11 on, who really aren't participating in the Legion, the Hatfield Legion anyway. Is that correct?
That's true. I mean, the younger guys come back to town and they join for a year or two, and then it's just a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
Back World War II, Korea, it was important for those guys to belong to an organization
Right.
like the Legion, to bring your wife or girlfriend to the Legion on Friday
Right.
night for a meal.
Yeah.
The lifestyle has changed. World War II, Korea, there was a lot of people in the military.
Right.
Now, the war on terrorism, the militaries aren't as big, so we're not getting as many veterans.
Right.
What we're looking at is the Vietnam War era veterans. I think there's a lot of them out there. It took me 30 years after I got out of the military to become involved in the Legion. I'm
Right.
kind
So
of,
you're probably an example of
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah, and that was basically just by an accident. I had brought my kids to the Legion here. They were scouts to participate in the Memorial Day Parade. And my friend Ed Jaworski came up to me and he says, "Tom, we're short a guy in the color guard. We need somebody." And he says, "Will you do it?" And I says, "Well, I don't have a uniform or anything on." And he called Sergeant at Arms Ken Belice over, and Ken kind of looked me up and down. I had a red, white, and blue shirt on, and my baseball cap that had my Army unit
Yeah.
on the front of it. And he looked me up and down, and he says, "Yeah, he'll do." So I
And that's how it
marched
began.
with the color guard for that parade, and I've been involved ever since.
Yeah. That's
So
how.
I'm hoping that we can get some other Vietnam era veterans interested in participating.
Right. And Wendy, how about eligibility for the auxiliary?
In order to become a auxiliary member, you have to have had a family member, like an immediate family member, brother, sister, husband, wife, uncle, that served in the military during that wartime, or if they're alive, if they've belonged to a certain legion, or a deceased parent or grandparent. That's the eligibility requirement for us. Okay. Now, we have a few members, we have one member right now who is a veteran that I worked with in the emergency room, who is also a Legion member. And I have another one that spoke at the Legion Memorial Day a few years ago. That is, she's an active Legion member, right? I mean, Legion veteran,
Yeah.
and she also is thinking about joining the Women's Auxiliary too. So it's nice. It's really nice. It gives a lot of different perspective on, like,
Right.
when we hear different things from the veterans. And our whole purpose is to be able to support and anything to do with military.
Right. So are you on paper you're separate organizations, but are there joint events where the Legion and the Auxiliary are doing things together?
Yes.
Here at the Legion or elsewhere?
Yeah, and just about anything that the Legion does, the auxiliary is there to help us out.
Okay.
We have a barbecue coming up on Memorial Day. While
Yep.
the Legion members are doing their thing at the ceremony and the parade and stuff, the auxiliary will be at the pavilion, getting that ready.
Right.
The auxiliary had a car wash last month. Some of the Legion members came and helped out with that.
Yeah. Good.
So we're kind of intertwined with each other and help each other out as much as we can.
So what does it cost to be a member of the Legion and a member of the Auxiliary?
Right now,
Is there a
Legion dues are set by the state the Department of
state.
by the
Okay.
Department of Massachusetts, according to your membership level. The more members you have, the less dues you pay. So right now, our dues are $35 a year.
Okay.
And ours aren't determined by that. We started the charter last year, and we all came as a group, as a decision. We spend we charge $25 a year, and that was all based on our group decision.
Right.
Out of that 25, 17 automatically goes to the state auxiliary,
Okay.
and the rest goes into our treasurer.
Treasury.
And
Okay.
the reason for that is because it provides a lot of different things, benefits and insurance and so many programs.
Right, that are state-centered?
Correct,
Okay. The
correct.
same thing, there's a share of that
Same
membership
Right.
that goes
Yes,
to the state as well. Yeah.
so ours is decided, we decided amongst ourselves.
It's interesting
As
that
far-
the auxiliary has fiscal autonomy,
Yeah,
and the Legion doesn't. And it'd be interesting when I speak with the Sons and the Riders, whether that's the case with them or not. But you'd almost think that the thought process behind the state's rate setting for membership would be just the opposite.
Yeah,
That they would want lower rates for the legions, for the posts who have lower memberships, because you're trying to get more people to join, and if it was a lower rate, maybe that would happen faster. But anyway, just a comment on the side. Okay, so we talked about the local membership of the Legion being 90 or so. Not likely that all of them are active either.
definitely not. I would say 75% of our membership is local. 25% are from, they've moved away.
Okay.
They're out of town, they're out of state, but they still belong. They still send their membership dues every year and still want to be part of chapter or post 344. Of the ones that are local, there's only a handful of us that come to the meeting each month, and you could consider are active in the Legion. I will say that in times when we have a funeral or something to take care of, to attend, the guys come together and they all show up.
Right. And Wendy, how about the auxiliary? How are you finding is there usually just a handful that are active and?
actually, there's, most of them are active. I'd say probably 5 are not as active because the times that we have the meeting coincide with them still being at work. However, they are very helpful as far as when we're planning an event with the cooking, with any sort of event like the car wash.
Right.
So, everything balances out. And because we're new, most people have shown up. But there's some months that they don't, and that's okay. We get the word out to everybody, and that's all that matters right now, is that everybody pulls together when there is an event or.
So let's say that if there are people watching and they're starting to see some interest, what's in it for them? We've talked about our existing membership and the kind of the distribution of members and how many people are active and inactive, and obviously your goal is to try to increase participation here in the Legion. But what's in it for the person that pays their $35 a year or their $25 a year? What's in it for them as a person? What does the Legion offer them?
Well, I guess like any other volunteer organization, it's just the good feeling you get from volunteering to help. And our volunteering is specifically designed towards veterans and current service members.
Okay.
We do a lot in the community. we put on the Memorial Day parade and ceremony. We put on the Veterans Day ceremony. We offer a monetary prize for the top 3 finishers of the Smith Academy declamation contest that they have every year.
Yeah.
We, with the help of Buster Szymanski and M&S Electric, maintain all the flags around town.
Right. We all see those.
For holidays.
Yeah.
Along with the Boy Scouts, we maintain the grave flags that are
Cemeteries,
required in the cemeteries that are required by the state each year. So the Boy Scouts put them out before Memorial Day and then take them down after Veterans Day.
Right.
This year, we're doing a flag retirement ceremony on June 16th. There's a box at the town hall outside of the treasurer's office that you can dispose of old American flags that are in need of retirement. And on June 14th, we're having that retirement ceremony at the Lions Pavilion at 6 o'clock. And everybody in town is invited to come and watch the proper way to dispose of an American flag.
Yeah. So in addition to the sense of getting involved and volunteering to help, whether it's individuals and or the community or a veterans related kind of assistance program, there is also the sense of camaraderie, the friendship, I would think, the ability to make new friends and meet new people and whatever that this kind of opportunity presents to anyone who's a prospective member.
It does.
Yeah.
You get to sit down and chat with somebody about things that happened in your past that you usually can't talk to somebody who hasn't been in the military about.
Right. Right.
Because, the people that went through the same thing share the same
Right.
stories.
It's a little bit of
So it's definitely
group and individual and group therapy.
yeah, exactly.
That can happen as well.
You're right.
Yeah. People who are looking for that kind of an outlet could be helpful.
As far as the auxiliary, we are supporting veterans. We love veterans. And each one of us that have joined the auxiliary love veterans. And we're very patriotic. And that's what we want the community to know us, that we are patriotic, we are for everything that we represent, that you can come here and we'll accept you. We don't care who you are, color, religion, but we love everybody. And that's the whole purpose is giving back to veterans and giving back to our community. That's what you join a community event for. And that's why we started the auxiliary, is so that not only helping the veterans, but helping the whole community. And there's nothing more beautiful than on the Veterans Day ceremony when they have here, and the band is playing, and then they start playing each one of the, what do you call those?
Service songs.
The service songs.
Right.
So they'll
For each of
say,
the branches.
Yeah.
and they'll say with the members of the Army, and they play their song, and you see these people that it makes me cry just even wanting to talk about it. They're elderly, some of them could hardly walk, and they're just up there and they're shaking hands with everybody. I'm telling you, if there's anything in the world I love more, it's that. And that's what we're here for. That's what I would love to get across to everybody to join. And we have one junior member, too. We just had a junior member.
So what's a junior member?
Oh, a junior member of the auxiliary is any junior or senior, 16 or above.
Okay.
That can join for just $10.
Okay.
Period. And these are people that normally either A, want to join the service when they graduate, or they're just very involved in the world events and patriotism and what our whole country stands for. and they have annual conferences, and that we will sponsor them, but we haven't yet because we just started last year.
Right,
But
sure.
so we just have one junior member that joined last month, and we're very excited about it. She's a junior in high school, and she's planning on entering the service upon graduation.
Oh,
So
Great.
we're quite excited about that.
yeah, that's
put the word
reason
out.
to be excited.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
to
put
get
the
that younger generation involved
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what
Yeah.
has to happen,
Yes.
obviously. But so let's switch gears a little bit and talk about this facility. It was built in 1968, Tom, as you said, and we're coming up on its 50th anniversary next year. It's located at 1 Prospect Street. That's the building up on the hill.
It is.
That has a big sign on it right now that says open to the public. So let's talk more about that open to the public stuff. Let's talk about the facility and the use of the facility by the general public. Whoever wants to
Well,
chime in,
the-
chime in.
Okay.
The facility is for rent by the public. There's a large room upstairs that holds, seats 98, and this room down here seats 87. We have a full bar on each floor. For any type of function, we've had birthday parties, showers, baby showers, wedding showers.
Funerals?
In the spring, we have some companies that have their yearly business meetings here. They meet upstairs.
Christmas parties?
Right now, we have a big fundraiser going on to upgrade our kitchen, to bring it up to current standards. It's not where it's supposed to be, and we would like to bring it up to current safety standards, so that in addition to renting out the hall, we could rent out the kitchen for people to actually prepare their own food here. Right now, most all food, it comes from caterer.
Catered.
And
Yeah.
you have to be a licensed caterer in order to operate here. You have to file with the Board of Health, and then if there's a function and somebody hires you as a caterer, you're welcome to come right in here and use the facility.
And if people are interested
I
in,
know a lot of the older people in town know about the facility and that it's available. We had an event here in the spring, had a lot of younger people here, and a lot of town folks didn't realize that the Legion was here. And that's one thing we want to get out to newer people in town, to younger people in town,
Right.
that don't know that this facility is here and it's for rent to be used.
now you have the open to the public sign, so is
Well,
the bar open to the public, or
The
is
bar-
it not?
The bar was opened on Monday nights when the pitch league plays here. We
Okay.
have the Henry Bistow pitch league that's been playing here for close to 50 years.
Right.
We opened the bar on that night, and got a good reception on that. Currently, it's not opened. What the sign is trying to get out is that the building is available for the
Okay.
public to rent.
Okay.
Probably we should reword the sign, but that's what we're trying to convey, that the building is available to use, because that's how we make the money to maintain this building. Last summer, we spent most of the summer renovating. We got a grant from Home Depot through their American Legion program. We were able to completely gut the bathroom down here and refinish it. There's new paint throughout the whole building. Right now, we're
It
working
really
on-
does look nice for people who haven't seen it recently. For those who would come to see it for the first time, it really presents itself.
Yeah, right now,
Very
we're
nicely.
working on finishing the stairs. We tore off all the old carpet, and there's nice hardwood under it, and it's a matter of getting it sanded and refinished.
So for people who are interested in renting the building, what's the approximate cost to rent?
Well,
the
if
Legion?
your group is 50 or less, it's $150.
Okay,
If it's 50 up to the 98, And I have to say that the fire department is keeping us to that 98 because of laws that have been
Yep.
passed in the state.
And safety.
Right.
So, and we understand that. We understand that. So if it's 50 to the 98, it's $200 for
Okay.
their, and then the bar is $50 for a 4-hour period.
Okay.
And our drink prices are definitely very reasonable compared to other places you go.
Right. Very competitive
Yeah.
pricing-wise for the bar prices, yeah. So, what else? Is there, are other things you guys would like to?
I just want,
Sure. Anything else?
will
Yeah.
be, a lot of the Legion Auxiliary, I have to say, is responsible for a lot of the painting that went on here, the scraping, doing the floors, doing the walls, doing the bathrooms, tearing down old paper, putting up new, and just scrubbing this place. And I just can't say enough about the Legion Auxiliary for all the work that, for everybody but of course I'm going to just speak for the auxiliary.
Right.
And just everybody comes together when there's an event to help out, or can I help, or can I cook this, or can I make something for you, or
Right.
can I be present, or what are the times? It's just been a wonderful organization to start because we're seeing this, and because of the people in the town, and my grandson going to school here, it's nice because I get the word out from a lot of the moms, and I'm finding out a lot of the moms are veterans. So it all works out well. We, a couple months ago, we had a Shamrock dance. It was the PTA that put it on.
Okay.
And I volunteered the use of the Legion and helped out, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was just wonderful. So that's what we're trying to convey, is that the place is for rent, for weddings, anything at all. The bars are available either upstairs or downstairs, and we just want people to come here, be part of this organization, and I'm telling you, what you're going to get out of it is just beyond imagination.
I guess the last topic that I'd like to cover is this issue of finances. Tom, I remember speaking with you off camera a couple of weeks ago, and when I first met you, and you were saying how this Legion actually came very close to closing down. That's how marginal it was from a financial standpoint. And, you've stabilized at this point, but certainly the success and continuation of what you have here and what we have here as a community, like any other organization, is you need income.
Exactly.
And certainly that would be enhanced by more members, but at $35 a year, that's reasonably inexpensive. It takes a lot of members to generate the kind of income, for example, that you would need for upgrading that kitchen. So, what, in addition to growing your membership, what do you see is, what does the Legion have to do to increase its revenue, if you will, to a point where, you can do things like the kitchen when you have to do the kitchen, and do major renovation projects when you have to do them, and spend money on air conditioners when you have to buy air conditioners or what have you. Do you ever think about what you need in addition to membership? Is there any way that more dollars can come into the Legion itself to sustain it and maintain it?
Well, right now, we've got a letter writing campaign going on. We're trying to get letters to all the businesses in Hatfield,
Good.
Explaining our situation and asking if there's any way they can help out monetarily.
Your two major
We
events.
can't, you can't be constantly doing that.
Right.
Last year, I came right out flat and asked all the members for $100 each.
Yeah.
And, you know, well over half of the membership responded. And that got us over the hump. But the main thing we've got to do is be able to rent out this facility for people to use, and that provides us with the income.
Yeah.
But also, if I can interject, is at that time, that's when we started the Legion Riders, the Legion Auxiliary, and the Sons of the Legion.
Right.
And because of that, everybody's pulling together with different events to keep this place going.
Right. Fundraising
And
events.
Fundraising,
Yeah.
car wash, tag sales,
Yeah.
dinners,
Yeah.
Christmas party. Anything and everything we possibly can. All of us are doing our part. Every one of them are doing our
Right.
part to
Right.
be able to help out, to be able to provide with all the things that we need to update.
The two big money-raising events that we have each year are the Veterans Night, which is always the Saturday before Veterans Day, and also the barbecue on Memorial Day at the Lions Pavilion. And I get a lot of comments about people, well, I would have gone, but I thought it was just for Legion members. And that's one
point.
thing I try to get out is that,
Everybody.
you know, Veterans Night, the barbecue is open to anybody that wants to buy a ticket. And the more people that buy tickets, the better off we'll be. So
Okay.
we'd like to see that participation from the town.
Well, it sounds like the two of you have got, you know, your hands full, but, you know, as I said, you've stabilized this situation, and it looks like there's some growth ahead. There's certainly a lot of excitement.
There is.
And when we talk more about the Sons and the Riders in another show, I think there are other people out there, particularly maybe some younger people, who would be interested in those divisions of the Hatfield American Legion. John's kind of giving me the high sign at this point. I'm talking about John Novak, who I want to thank before I forget, our station manager, HCTV station manager, for assisting us in putting these shows on. He's our behind-the-scenes guy, and certainly without him, we wouldn't be able to do any of these. But I think we're getting short of time. Kind of about wraps things up for this show on the Legion and the Legion Auxiliary. And hopefully all of you that are watching and have a chance to see this have a much better understanding of what actually happens here at this facility up on the hill on 1 Prospect Street here in Hatfield. One last point is we were just talking with Tom and Wendy. The Legion's success really does depend entirely on active membership, participation, and volunteerism. The organization, no question, is dedicated to the people and the community it serves, in this case, Hatfield. So if you'd like to join, or if you'd like to speak with somebody, or if you're at all interested in finding out more about the Legion and its various divisions, there will be an open house scheduled for Saturday, July 15th, obviously here at the Legion. So you can be more than welcome to come, chat with some of the people, get a sense for what the personality is like and the chemistry, and whether or not you might fit into one or more of these organizations, and you know, plan on doing that. And that's when you'll have a chance to see the Legion firsthand and up front and personal. I want to thank Tom and Wendy Tataro for being here.
Thank you.
Here at this show in Hatfield Currents. I think it's been a good show, and hopefully people have enjoyed it as well. So once again, you can see this edition and other editions of Hatfield Currents on Channel 15, our Comcast Channel 15, HCTV's public station channel, and also 24/7 on YouTube, those of you who are internet inclined. And the channel on YouTube is Hatfield Community TV. That's all one word. So if you go to YouTube and key that in, you'll find a whole bunch of shows, Hatfield Current shows, and other shows that have been produced on the town of Hatfield. So until next time, for Hatfield Currents. I'm Mike Cahill. Watch yourself, Hatfield.